Hello, Leo, and welcome back to my Body and Heart Tarot Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for February 2020. This is a general reading for Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. If it resonates, it resonates, and if it doesn't, then it's just not your reading. Don't try to stretch it or make it fit somehow. Take whatever works for you, whatever you use your intuition to know what works for you, and let the rest go. All right, my dear Leo. That being said, how have you been? Hope you're well. We're actually having a full moon in Leo in February. I can't remember the date though. Well, check it out. I think it's going to be a very potent full moon for you because we're quite far away from any fire signs. So there haven't been much fire energy lately. Well, we had the Sagittarius, but that's a while back. We've had the Capricorn and now Aquarius and Pisces. So these are quite different energies. Aquarius is your opposite sign, right? So that's very interesting for you, I think. This end of this end of January that I'm doing actually the reading, but February as well is Aquarius season. Wait, yeah. Up until the 22nd, 31st, right? Sorry, I'm sometimes really confused with dates. So we have the Seven of Wands as your current energy. All right. What's this? We have the Four of Swords as your challenge. Now, what's your focus, my dear? The moon is your focus. We were just talking about full moon in Leo. I think that full moon is, as I said, like a really good energy for you to work with. I haven't checked the aspects of the moon, so feel free to do some research on that. Now we're just going to do the tarot, and we're going to feel the energy through just like that. Page of Pentacles is your advice. And let's see what's your future energy. Three of Swords. Okay, don't freak out there. Don't freak out. And the Sun as your underlying energy. So this Three of Swords is in good hands here. Because the Sun first of all, this is your card. It's Leo energy. Second of all, this is the theme of the month of February for you. So that's really good. All right, let's put out the clarifiers before we go deeper into this, so we can have a bigger picture of what's really going on in here. So why are these cards here? Please clarify these cards. Okay, we have the Prince of Cups and the Ace of Cups as your current energy, along with the Seven of Wands. We have the Princess of Cups with the Four of Swords as your challenge. We have the Nine of Pentacles with the Moon as your focus. We have the Queen of Swords with the Page of Pentacles as your advice. We have the Ace of Wands with the Three of Swords as your future energy. Told you this is in good, really good energy. And we have the Chariot with the Sun as your future, as your underlying energy, the theme of this month of February. Okay, the Sun obviously talks about happy, joy. You know, you're being able to be yourself fully, to feel safe, to feel that you can show yourself just as you are to the world without having to edit yourself or to put all the shields up and to filter out everything. That doesn't mean that we're just going to be out there with no when with no filters at all. Of course, we feel sometimes things that are related to other people, and we're not just going to put all of our feelings on them, like I don't like you, or whatever judgment may come into our minds. That's not what this is about. This is really about something much more pure, something that's really deep inside you. And it's not so much about the pettiness of how we sometimes think being authentic means. um all right, and with the Chariot here, I think that you are able to really move forward in the direction that is important to you right now. You have all the resources necessary for you to move forward. This is Cancer energy. So it's the sign right before you. Mm, Cancer archetype has to do with their inner security, being able to find security within oneself. That means emotional security mainly, and the nurturing home. But that could mean literally the home environment, the family. But that also means your inner home. Like, how do you feel at home within yourself? And I think these two tie up quite well here. Being able to show yourself, being able to feel safe. You need to feel safe in order to stay naked like this and just play. And this wall here signifies protection. And you see the sun is watching down at this naked child, um, providing that type of protection that it needs to feel safe and play. The sun also talks about revealing things that have been hidden up until now, bringing things to light. That's what the sun does. When the sun rises, brings light over the darkness, and we can see what was there. Um, Maybe something that you've kept into the shadow now is free to come out and just be, and to feel safe enough for it to come into your conscious awareness first of all, and maybe feeling even safe enough to share it with the world. Because what we keep in our shadows, it's usually less dark than we think it is, and less scary, and less of a monster, and more of a child really that's scared and is creating all these monsters. Yeah. And along with these traits that we hid into the shadow because we're afraid of them, or we don't like them, or trauma created this separation, there's also a lot of gold that we keep trapped there into the shadow, that we don't have access to it either. And that could mean like feeling free, and a certain joy, and just that knowing that we're not as bad as we think. We really aren't. Everything that we think about ourselves that we hate, or we don't like, or we don't want to look at, it's really not as bad as we think. And we can finally relax into that when it comes to light. So I think there's some inner child work being done here, or you had been doing some inner child work, and now you're kind of taking the results from that. And right, so the Seven of Wands with the Ace of Cups and the Prince of Cups, which is basically the Knight of Cups as your current energy. So I think that you find yourself in the position that you have to defend and stand up for what you love, what you really care for, and to be able to share that with the world. With the Prince of Cups, the Knight of Cups is somebody who is very open emotionally and wants to connect from a heart space, and maybe sometimes a little bit of a that romantic character that always likes to be in love and always like to share from, I don't know how to put it, to bring the message home. Maybe wearing your heart on a sleeve a little bit, And maybe that's why you're called here with the Seven of Wands to be a little bit more um protective of that, but not protective in the sense that you become defensive. More like standing in your own power and holding your own ground, holding space for yourself here, because many times we can wear our heart on a sleeve and then we get hurt immediately, but that's just because we tend to look for other people to complete us. We look outside of ourselves for that perfectly romantic story or romantic partner that's going to mirror back at me everything that I don't see in myself, or I want to see in myself, or I want the people to recognize in me, or to find that partner that makes me feel complete. And whatever story, uh, Hollywood story may be circulating. So yeah, it's if the Ace of Cups here, there's a heart opening, there's beautiful heart opening. You can connect to that place of unconditional love. You can connect to your heart space and maybe really feel it nice, warm and mushy. And you may want to share that with the world, and the world is not always responding the way you feel they should respond, and that can be painful. My point here is that you protect what you love and you know that you are safe within your heart space. Do not expect that everyone outside of yourself is going to mirror back at you all that, because that's not usually the case. Of course we can connect from a heart space, but that we can only do that when we're really grounded, when we have our own back, when I believe in myself and I know myself and I love myself just as I am. I don't need you to do that so I can feel good about myself, I don't need you to love me so I can give myself permission to love myself. I love myself first. I have my back, I have my ground, I have all, like, no matter who comes and attacks me, I'm not going to believe their story, because I know what I'm standing here for, and it's my own heart space, it's my love, it's my energy. So if I'm coming here and I'm looking at you and you tell me like, well, you're full of shit, or I don't like you, I can take it. I'll be like, yeah, well, it's okay. You don't like me. We don't need to interact. It's fine. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to like myself. I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion. You may have your own shadows, you may have your own, and it's fine. Not everybody likes each other. It's perfectly fine. We are hardwired to be people pleasers, to like each other, to mimic each other, to want everybody to like us. It's part of our conditioning, but it's also part of what we're learning to discern, right? That is not necessary. We're not in that part of the evolution anymore, when if you're left out from the tribe, you meant certain death. So yeah, it's really important for you now to hold your own ground, to have your own back, and if you feel challenged in any way, to know that you are okay, there's nothing wrong with you, and to stand up for yourself. Really stand up for yourself. If you say, okay, you don't like me because this and this, I can say, yeah, sure, you're entitled to your opinion, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to put that on me. I mean, that's your perception of me, fine. Don't tell me I am all these things. And definitely I'm not gonna feel that, or I'm not gonna think or feel that I am any of those things that you perceive me as such necessarily. It's good sometimes to have a bit of a check-in. Okay, look, this person is perceiving me this way or this way. Am I coming out that way or not? Okay, maybe yes, maybe not. But that's not going to hit into my self-worth or my any of that. What seems to be challenging for you right now is to put your mind at ease. And it may be so because you feel challenged, because maybe what you want to spread all this love, you want to be all this um how to put this, when is that almost like that hippie type of love, like, yeah, we're all cool, everybody love each other, blah blah blah, and people can meet you with maybe not so much openness, and you maybe feel challenged to hold your ground there. You may go into this overthinking pool of are these people right? Am I doing the right thing? How to put this better? Maybe, yeah, questioning where you're coming from and all that. And the knights talk about expansion, like this Knight of Cups here can talk about expanding your emotional realm. And the Princess of Cups talks about more like that type of growth that happens when we are kids. And children don't really know how to deal with emotions. That's why emotional education is very important. And not many of us actually benefited from that. To have good role models or parents or caretakers that come and tell us, like, when you feel angry, it's okay to express it. You don't need to say yes to everything. It's okay to have your own feelings and opinions. It's okay to feel what you're feeling. We can, if we don't have this type of role models or education, we can become emotionally repressed or go into crazy tantrums because we just, as I said, we just don't know how to cope with emotions. And emotions are a fucking powerful thing, guys. I mean, like, whew, it can be quite intense for some of us more than others, but you're fire energy, Leo, and emotions do play a big role in your life. They're quite a few for your passion. And you are a little bit like in the zodiac, the Leo is supposed to be the heart, actually, and in terms of houses, in is the inner child, Leo. You may be challenged in that sense that you may feel the power of your inner child right now coming out and be like, I don't want to deal with this, or I want that. I don't care what you say, I want that. And acting exactly like a child. We can also see amazing like really amazing emotional expression from children, where they say things so purely and so directly and so nicely that we even forgot how it is to be able to transmit emotions in that way, or express emotions in that way. But this is your challenge position, so I believe that you get lost in your thoughts. That's why you find it challenging to take your own break and go within to meditate, maybe stay still for a little bit. It may just feel constantly being dragged by your emotions one place or another, and kind of feel like the victim of your emotions here. Maybe feel quite moody and emotionally unstable. And I think that having the focus on the moon, besides the fact that you have the full moon in Leo in February, that I think you can really work with it, and it's going to be very. You see, this one's called gain here. It's the Nine of Pentacles. I think you have a lot to gain from working with that energy. Um, the other thing that I'm seeing here is that, yes, it's a lot around emotions and around your subconscious needs and your inner fears, your darkest fears here. Maybe having the people not reacting, or like feeling challenged by the people around outside of yourself. or your environment, or the way they receive your open heart, um may wake may put you in these tantrums of I don't know, having all this emotional instability, and feeling like I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, fuck, feeling angry, maybe seeing yourself being very reactive in moments where you thought you have your shit figured out, or reactions that come out of nowhere and be like, oh, I don't know where that came from. There's a lot going on in your emotional realm right now, and some of those fears may be really triggered, and there can be fears around rejection, because there's this the seven. See how this person here is literally being challenged. There's all these ones coming at him. That's one way to perceive it, because it's kind of like and see, he's holding this, defending himself. But these all have like leaves growing on them, so that shows growth. And sevens in general talk about growth. Sevens also talk about sevens are spiritual challenges that happen in order for you to grow spiritually. It's like testing time. And I hate that word, being tested, but we sometimes need to put our own like, we discover new stuff about ourselves. You just open your heart here and you discover that you are safer than you thought you were, and maybe you can show more of yourself, and you're trying that out, and you're putting it out there, you're testing it out, and you maybe get challenged. But that's okay for you, because that's how you learn how to navigate with that. That's how you learn how to tap into your heart without having to feel hurt or challenged or attacked. You learn to get comfortable with this energy, and this is one, so that has to do with your belief systems. Maybe your beliefs around your heart and the love and the creativity and passion are being challenged right now, or how we show up, and how can we express our emotions and all that, you see. And I think that having the moon as your focus, really tap into your intuition here and really allow yourself to work with your fear. You have so much to gain from this. And this is a 9. 9 talk about self-sufficiency a lot. It's towards the end of the cycle. It's Pentacles, so you are literally very grounded right now. You have your own you have space, you have this top of the mountain for yourself, and you need to rest assured in that you're going to be okay. And you're safe enough to feel your fear, whatever that fear is, even if it's something that it's completely scary for you. By the way, you have the sun, the moon, and the sun here. The moon talks about shadows, fears, and illusions. The sun talks about revealing those. So I think that, there's a type of working with the fear where you can make it like a meditation, or some type of like practice session where you just sit in meditation, or you write down on a journal, or you can record yourself even, and have a conversation with your fear. Something like, okay, I'm here to listen. I know that fear is here to protect me. I know you fear, you're here to protect me. If you ignore your fear, it's going to take over, because it feels that it needs to keep you safe. But if you're bringing your fear into your conscious awareness, and you listen to the wisdom that fear has for you, you can become an ally. This is what the whole wisdom of the moon card is, that these two, the dog and the wolf here, are howling at the moon, and they symbolize our fears, and this little, what the hell, this is Cancer, lobster, whatever that is, wants to go out from the water and go into this path journey that goes somewhere in the unknown on the top of a mountain. Mountains symbolize challenges, by the way, but it needs to go between these two, and that's scary as fuck, right? But the wisdom of this card is like, okay, if you face your fears, they can become your allies. These dogs and the wolf can become the travel companion and companions for this thing, for the lobster, and they can pass through this gate of awareness, bringing light into the darkest shadow, bringing your shadows into a healthy light. And yeah, the moon is not going to bring a lot of light. It's just going to bring a little bit of light, just enough for you to see there's something there. But that's the process for you here, to know, to see what's there, to trust that you are safe to work with it, and gain its own trust. Like whatever hides in the shadow, it's a part of you that you've been denying or rejecting, right? You need to earn the trust of that part of you in order for it to come out completely, and you can reintegrate it as yourself, as part of the whole. I'm seeing these bubbles here coming together, and I'm thinking about that whole reintegration of different parts of oneself. And again, this is called gain here. Your advice: grounding, 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 and Queen of Swords, which talks about boundaries. This is also basically about putting boundaries and standing up for yourself. But see this Queen of Swords here, she's so chill down there. She's got the sword here, she's got the head of a dude there, bearded guy, and she's all like, psh, I can deal with this, no worries. That's a pretty cool Queen of Swords. And the Page of Pentacles is about like finding the messages in the wisdom of your body and allowing yourself to grow naturally. Do not push yourself towards this or toward that. Don't strive too much. Don't try too hard, you know. When we're trying too hard to heal, grow, change and all that, it's because we are rejecting somehow some part of ourselves. Now we're like, I don't like this, I don't want this, I want to change it, I want to push it away, I want to, you know, change comes naturally as we accept. It only comes through full acceptance of the situation as it is. Whatever is in the shadow, the moment I accept it, the moment I accept my fear, it has less power over me and I can work with it. I'm not stuck anymore. The more I connect to what's in my shadow, to my inner child and its moodiness and the fears around that, the more I'm able to accept that these are part of me, like it or not, and I'm able to create a friendliness, a relationship of friendliness with it, and allow this communication to happen. That facilitates change. It's not when I'm striving to change and I'm just like, okay, here I am gonna make this plan and it's gonna make it happen, and by 12 o'clock next year everything is gonna be perfect and I'm never gonna have to face any of my fears and shadows. Allow this to happen naturally. The change happens naturally as you pay attention to your physical body. Allow your mind to rest. It's a challenge position here, but it's important for you to do that. And you can allow your mind to rest by putting your attention into your body. The infinite wisdom of your body will give you very important messages that you need right now. Also connecting to nature. Go for walks in the nature, go by the river, by the ocean, wherever you live. Go into the forest or into the park. Feel the earth beneath your feet. Connect to I don't know, connect to nature and connect to your body. Do body scans, meditate, do body scans, really feel your food, Like when you eat, don't eat and watch Netflix or whatever. I'm guilty of that sometimes too. It's not that I'm preaching here, it's just that it's really important for you right now to come back to your body. That's what's going to enable you to understand what is it that you really need, because you're going to feel all this stuff at body level. And you're also able, if you're connecting to the earth, depends also what kind of practices you do. But if you practice, for example, with energy, you work with energy, you can connect with the energy of the earth, and you can ground deeply, and you can do this energy exchange and release what's too heavy and what's too I don't know, really, really ground. And you can also take very nurturing energy from the earth. And this kid here, like, okay, it's transformation, right? It's growing, as is that type of growth that happens naturally with the pages. You may through this process of transformation and grounding and coming back to your body, you may see value in things that you didn't see before. And you may be able to even connect deeply to your own value, feeling your... Actually, I hate this word of like saying my self-value or self-worth, because there is no such thing. Because there was never a question. We are not a commodity to have to put a price on. How valuable are you? You're no more valuable than anyone else. We are all inherently having the same value. You can't put a value on human life or human. That our value and worth had never been on the table. That's not the question. Question is, can I become aware of that and stop thinking that I'm something like an object to be valued or not, something to be sold or to be bought. And I think it will come really in handy to put these really strong boundaries for yourself, but from a chill place, not having to go out there and pick up a fight with people. You're quite safe in here. You really are safe in this process. This is the reason why you have the opportunity now to work with these fears and to feel all these emotions quite intensely, because you have the protection here. You're protected by your own sun. You are in your element here. Hold your ground and be grounded in your ground. Okay, have the Three of Swords with the Ace of Wands as your future energy. The threes, the mind energy. One, it's physical. Two is about the emotional side. Three is the mind realm. And the swords also talk about the mind. So this has nothing to do really with your emotions and with your heart. It's more how you perceive them. And the Three of Swords, actually, it's aligning yourself with your heart, going back into alignment with your heart. See, the swords are penetrating the heart, but there's no blood coming out. There's no pain in here. It's alignment. It's coming together. So I think that, especially with the Ace of Wands here, going to find finally that opening where you see how you've perceived your own pain in the past, that if you can dismiss this confusion that surrounded your perception of pain and fear. Sometimes we've been hurt once in the past in a certain way, and then we keep perpetuating that hurt, that type of pain onto ourselves. By, like it or not, we internalize that pain, and we internalize that voice that hurt us in a certain way. Maybe a parent saying that, I don't know, you're not smart enough, or you're not beautiful enough, or you're not good enough in one way or another. Maybe we completely take it out of context and we just think not good enough, period. Maybe it was just like the father or the mother was saying like you need to practice more your song. You don't play good enough now. You can't go on the stage. You stay home and practice. And we just internalize not good enough. That's it. It's important to look at this right now, and I think that with the Ace of Wands you have the as I said, the spiritual awakening and the possibility then to have the curiosity and passion to be able to look at this with no fear, because you've conquered your fears here, because you are connected, you are safe, you're able to incorporate this into your journey and move forward with it. You don't need to suffer from that voice that you've internalized in your mind that says it deep down within yourself, that says that somehow you're not good enough for something. And that means that is you align with your heart really, and you know that you are enough, you know that you are okay no matter what other people say, no matter how people perceive you, no matter how people if people receive your love or not, then you are aligned, and something that's been heavy on your heart for a long time is being lifted. That's what I see in this Three of Swords here. Beautiful. All right, my darling, let's see what Rumi has to say in this business. Okay, you seem to be eager. From nothing to everything. Ooh la la. Look at that. This is the number 16, which is yet another 7. Sixteen. Okay, you went too far. There you are. So the poem from Rumi says, "Oh, my friend, if you are longing to be written on, become a blank page." I'm going to read that again. "Oh, my friend, if you are longing to be written on, become a blank page." I'm gonna go to the explanation for this. I'm not sure I get it, to be honest, but somehow I do. Like, you have a 1 here, you have a 1 here, the aces. These are new beginnings, right? And in order to write a new story, and in order to internalize, to have a new internal world, you need to become blank first. You need to let go of these perceived, these inner demons that hide into the shadow. Okay, let's see what this says. I may have to read more than I actually want to, because it's okay. So there are moments on the path of love that seem to focus on letting go of identities, of knowledge, and the certainty and of letting go of identities, of knowledge and certainty, of opinion, and even attempts to control. We may feel as though we are being stripped back to our core, and then, perhaps, further still. We may wonder if we can bear it. What shall, if at all, remain intact through these rigors? We may feel challenged every time we attempt to become something great, like with this Ace of Cups here. As though we are blocked by circumstances beyond our control. Again and again, it is as though a greater hand smacks our wrist the moment we try to take hold of something firmly, someone, anything that brings us certainty or inner stability. Such are the rigorous and advanced stage on the path. We meet this challenge when our soul is ready for it. Ho ho ho. Okay, I'm gonna go to the guidance. This oracle comes with guidance for you. You are being asked to let go, to receive, to become empty, to be filled. This may mean letting go of attachment to a lover so you can receive genuine love. It may be of no longer holding on to a fantasy of your dream job, but of being guided to your most soulful and successful vocation. It may mean letting go of wishes for your body or health to be other than it is, so you can simply get on with living each day, taking steps into wellness without thinking beyond one day at a time. That's that Page of Pentacles that came as your advice. Um, It is a divine paradox that when we are asked to surrender a story or fantasy, it is because reality is knocking at our door, more often than not, with the delivery of what we have been fantasizing about, but in the best way for us. The human experience of this paradox is that you may feel you are giving up hope, that your fantasy is dying. It may be very painful and bring you much grief, but all that is dying is your attachment and your opinion about how it must be. This needs to happen so you can stop dreaming and start living it. This is what is happening for you now. Do not fear any part of your process. Embrace it without expectation, with trust in your heart that the divine is simply guiding you from fantasy into fulfillment. The divine is guiding you here, and you may feel like a child again. You may feel vulnerable and open, but I think that you really, yeah, that's all that fear that you're feeling now. It's all over here. This is happening for you. Like this fear that you're working with here, it's giving you so much information and it's taking you from nothing to everything. It's blanking as we shed off these old skins and old stories about how we are less than we think we are, or less than we just that less, we're opening ourselves up for a new type of reality. And to be honest, I don't think that you're gonna be as afraid as this oracle says. Given the supportive energy here, and given this sun here, that is like really your card, I think that you're gonna be quite all right, my dear Leo. I hope that makes sense to you. If you resonate with this reading, please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, may our practice benefit all beings. I'll see you here soon.